Welcome back to part 2 of this fabulous adventure all around the quite brutal and honest opinion I have of fine art photography, and the fact that it's the most utterly pretentious and bullshitty thing photography ever had the misfortune to come across. Having said that, having destroyed it in part 1, I'm going to spend a little time now in part 2 telling you why actually I think we should celebrate it and why we should not pour scorn on it like I've just done, mainly because I think all types of photography need to be celebrated, and particularly in this era of artificial ignorance. We need to, in fact, I'll just sidetrack there, just part there. This morning I was on Twitter X, whatever it's called now, and Elon Musk was saying something along the lines of, Grok will have general intelligence in the next 10 years, or he says there's a 10%, whatever it was some bullshitty, we're getting there. And the amount of slaves that replied to that, oh my God, yes, and I'm just thinking, and within that there were some artists and photographers and filmmakers and other creatives in celebrating their own demise, and I just think, fucking hell, wake up, wake the hell up. And this is part of why I think we should, as much as I hate's a bit, I don't really hate it, I dislike it, fine art photography, we should still celebrate it, because it's still photography, isn't it? It's still somebody with a camera doing certain things to go and stick it on a wall and sell, which is fucking great, really, in the grander scheme of things. Fine art photography is probably still one of the main photographers that gets seen, sold and bought, even though it's probably not by people that me and you know. It still has a something about it that keeps it relevant, even if it is people paying big money in places where me and you won't frequent. There's still a place for it. And my kind of disdain, and me trying to say to you guys, come on, don't take it seriously, because any idiot can do it. They can. I'm saying go and do it, because we need to keep all forms of photography alive and kicking and being pushed into people's faces, because if we don't, we will all be, Soylent Green before too much longer. And if we're not already there, there's, I'm a teacher. I've taught academic, BA honours and the like, and I understand the concepts and why people want to get a degree. It's exceptionally good if you approach it correctly with wanting the right outcomes from it. And academia heavily promotes fine art, because I think particularly the more prestigious universities around the place see fine art as one of their, it's kind of their thing, isn't it? It's their level. And I don't see why a guy from a council estate in Rotherham can't attain or look to attain that level of output, that level of success, by going up the ladder, doing a fine art BA, fine art MA, and becoming a fine art photographer, because people do, and people should be able to. And I do see that, the first time that the government thinks about what it's going to do with funding for universities and stuff, it always comes back to let's get rid of the arts. So again, we've got to do everything in our power to make sure that doesn't happen. Me as an educator, you as a person, having freedom of will, thought, and endeavour, should be able to go and do a fine art degree, because you'll learn some very good fine art teachers, because there won't just be the guys who tripped over a pot of paint and photographed it, made it black and white, and there'll be people who actually understand photography, art concepts, and will really believe in what they're teaching. So we need to celebrate it, in that respect, in terms of getting people to produce more work, whether it's fine art or whether it's portrait or whether it's, street art with a piece of dog shit in it. It doesn't matter. We need photography to be, keeping going, because we're up against the toughest fight we've ever known. It's different to the box brownie. When the box brownie came out, it was a big fight for pro photographers. Didn't pan out how they worried. But this is a different thing. This is a totally different concept of a person sitting in a house going, I'd like a fine art picture of the estuary in Liverpool. Done. You can do that now. So in 5, 10, 15 years, when Grok or whichever AI is going to you, you're having this week, Burkitt, this is the picture you're allowed to look at this week, suck it up, and it forces it on you. We can't go there. We've got to remain as human beings free to create and to be productive and to do all those wondrous things that artists have done. And fine art falls within that, so we have to protect it. We have to get people to still be able to make their concepts and tag their pictures and call them names so they can go and make money from them, because that's how it keeps photography alive, which is really what I'm all about. And it's not just fine art photography. I hate some other bits of photography as well. Still life's another one. I don't understand how people can photograph a plant or a cup or anything that's dead, anything that's inanimate, and get excited about it. Product photography is the same. I've done it. I've been paid to do it, but from an enjoyment, from a creative, from an excitement point of view, I might as well have been photographing fresh air, because this does nothing for me. Fine art, because it's got that pretentiousness to it, irks me even more. But like I just said, I was saying at the start how I think a lot of photographers fall into fine art because they're not very good photographers. And I think that's true in the main, but like in any walk of life, in any genre, in any kind of corner of that genre, there are always some really, really good fine art, really good photographers, really good painters, whatever it is. And I think fine art photography is no exception. There are some exceptionally good photographers that do fine art. They really, really are. I'm not going to show any. I'm not going to slag any off on screen. Not because I'm not brave enough to. I would happily tell them to their face, but I don't want to be destroying people's hard-earned careers just with my opinion. Not like that. So feel free to go and have a look and see what you can find, and see, make your own, come to your own decisions. Maybe even tell me down below in the comments. Let me know, do you think this fine art photographer is any good? And tell me why. And if you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I'm wrong 9 times out of 10, so come on. Chances are I'm wrong here. It's just my opinion. And remember, opinions like arseholes. Most people have got them. So, I want to protect fine art photography. I want to keep it alive and vibrant. I want to walk into galleries and see fine art on the wall, because it means then the photography is still alive. And whether you like it as a style, whether you don't believe it as a concept, whatever it is you feel, be happy that it's on a wall, or it's in an exhibition, or somebody shot it, or there's a forum online where somebody's going, look at my fine art picture. I'll just put a paint that I knocked over the other day, and I took a picture and stuck a bit of blur in it. Isn't it great? This is the concept. Warm to it, accept it, because without those people doing that, it's another branch of photography that's going to get nicked by AI, if it hasn't already. And every branch of photography needs its point. It needs its outlet. There aren't enough galleries around, are they? I mean, I go to Liverpool quite a lot, as you know. Some of the big cities have galleries, but you go into any small town village, how many photography galleries do you come across? And a lot of this has come back down to everything's digital now. People can just see it. But the worth of going to a gallery, I can't tell you. Some things are just too raw for the podcast, too honest for YouTube, and too controversial for Spotify. That's why I started the Lock-In. The Lock-In is my weekly email where all the filters are completely taken off. Every week I share my ideas, my brain farts, my thoughts on photography, education and reality. No algorithms, no polish, just the truth straight to your inbox. If you like the Lance Burkitt encounter, you're going to love the Lock-In. Let's get into it. How much that worth is. Let me give you a story. I may have told this before on the podcast. If I have, feel free to click on the time thing underneath and skip past this bit if I've told it before. So the American photographer, Philip Loca de Corsia, he had an exhibition in Wakefield near me, 2014, and teaching photography at that time, and I was looking to see whether I could take the students to see it. That was kind of our initial idea. So before I booked in, I looked online, looked at his work, and I thought, God, is that it? Some of the street stuff's all right. The $50 what was it called? He did a thing where he went around the streets paying people $50 to pose for him and certain things. I'll find it out, stick it on the screen. I can't remember what it was called, but that was all right. But within that there was a picture of a highway. So let's see if I can find his picture. Philip below could of course see it. So you can see his people stuff there's pretty good. But what I'm thinking of is a picture of like an American landscape with a highway going through it. And when you see the thumbnail, it was really deflated. I was thinking, not really fussed about seeing this at all. It's 2014 when I saw the exhibition, so this one there, I always love that. The double meaning for that there, I used for a lesson once, and students were like, oh wow. Have a look at that picture, see if you can figure out from that what we extrapolated from that. Quite eye-opening when you see it. But what the point I'm trying to make is, right, you look at people's work digitally. There are no galleries per se in small towns. Very, very few galleries in any small town. And it's frustrating because when you see pictures like this on a device, particularly on a phone or on a tablet, then you can't really understand what the picture is, what it's trying to do, how it's trying to draw you in. And when you can see it there, look, that landscape picture, which I don't know what it's called, but okay, just go away. The one on the left there, the highway. So when you saw that on a thumbnail, I was like, yeah. Anyway, decided to book in, went up to Wakefield to the Hepworth Gallery, went in, was walking around. I saw his portrait stuff first, the Hustler stuff, I think it was called, and then I was like that. But then I walked into a room and I was faced by this picture, but I was faced by it about A1 size, I think it was, maybe A0 size, which is like massive on the wall. And I stood in front of it and I thought, fucking hell, now I understand it, now I get it. And for me, the more photography we can see that, the more people we can get to come and stand in front of a print and get that emotion, that now I understand it, the better. And digital photography, I've said this a million times, while it's convenient, it's fun, it's cheap, it's destroyed that connection between the viewer and the picture. Back in the day, you'd go and take some holiday snaps in, you wait an hour, whatever, you come back, you get the pictures, you're like, oh, fucking, that's great, isn't it? That's gone. Now you get, bing, oh, sorry, wait a minute, bing, oh, sorry, oh, connection's gone. So the more we can get people back into galleries, more people exhibiting stuff, the better it's going to be, not just for photography, but for humans in terms of connection, talking to people, having real life experiences, rather than this all the time. And fine art photography could be one of those things that helps there and enables that, because massive on a gallery wall is where people will go and see them. And it's the best place to see that kind of work, regardless of what you think about the people that are doing it or how they've done it. If you can get people to go and stand in front of a 2.5, 3 meter square picture, look at it, and think, oh my God, yeah, beautiful. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I don't like that, but I can get the concept. The more the merrier. And like I said, I think fine art probably certainly above things like, I don't know, street photography, even portraits to an extent, because the people that frequent galleries want to go and see something that they think is a concept or a unique take on something. They don't just want to go look at a bunch of nice faces. So unless you're a prominent portrait photographer like Bailey or somebody, the chances of you filling an exhibition in a city are slim. But there are lots of small towns, lots of smaller places where you can go and show work and keep people wanting to be photographers, because that's how we save photography, by creating more work and showing it more people and pushing it in people's faces. And if if we don't support fine art photography because we think it's pretentious, which I do, then I'm a fucking idiot. I can't come on here and say we need to save photography from AI, but by the way, fine art photography is a lot of shit, get rid of it. It's not really what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think it's extremely pretentious. It's probably, maybe even along with still life, it's the most pretentious, bullshitty type of photography you can get, but I still want it to exist. I still want people to aspire to be fine art photographers. I want them to be better photographers. I want them to understand photography. I want them to understand and actually come up with concepts that are real, that are meaningful, that will link with a guy on the street who's homeless just as much as they will as with the top for the 5k to buy it. That's what I'd like to see, but I'm a little bit weary that could happen. But so long as photography is surviving in some form, whatever that form is, we're winning, aren't we? We've won. We've beat those bastards up there that are forcing AI onto us. And again, seeing the Elon Musk post today and all the people going, oh my God, yeah, Grok's going to have, is it called general intelligence or basically general sentient? It's going to be generally sentient. Not so far away. And people lauding it like it's brilliant. I just think, fucking hell. It's a type of photography that I once, as I said when I was teaching it earlier, I once aspired to be a great fighter, but then realised it was shit, so I never went down that road. I've seen some fine art photography that I think is technically brilliant. Of the guy, there was a guy I studied a little bit when I was doing my masters who did. It was just street photography, really, but he got photographs. I'll try and dig them out for the edit, but he got photographs of washing on the line, and, you know, because the washing's moving on the line. Beautifully lit by the sun, beautiful folds, beautiful, you know, angles, just beautiful, kind of told the story of, you know, the back streets and hanging the washing out in the backyard, that kind of thing. Was it a concept? I'm not so sure, but it's got a fine art edge to it, and it's beautifully lit and not staged and not really pretentious, but it could have been sold large format on a wall as fine art. Those kind of things I can kind of get into. I've seen pictures of, I've done pictures myself. I think I've shown some here where I come down in the morning after the night on the sauce and all the shit all over the kitchen. So you take a picture of it, stick a black and white filter on it, it suddenly becomes conceptual fine art. It's just, that's everywhere. But what I'm talking about is photographers whose photography is exceptional and fine art do exist. There are some out there. I mean, probably most of the biggest names out there, Cartier-Bresson and those kind of guys, even Ansel Adams probably does fall into the fine art category, particularly is moonscapes and landscapes and concepts behind those probably could fall into those categories. But Ansel Adams was a fucking brilliant photographer who understood his craft, not just photography, but printing as well. Those kind of people are very few and far between for me. And I may be wrong because it's not a genre that I live in and I accept as being brilliant and spend loads of time looking at. You can probably come out with a bunch who are brilliant. And if you do, great, I accept it. There probably are some really good, technically good photographers out there do fine art. But what I see of it being passed off as fine art is more often than not what I showed you earlier. Happen chance, or even worse than that. I mean, I'll show you. Let me find a shit picture. So this is just a snapshot that I took of a Liverpool over there. I saw this boat that's like a bar just by Albert Dock. Salthouse Dock, I think this one's called. A lot of buildings in the background. It's just a snapshot. But I've seen pictures like this sold as being fine art because they're black and white. And you'll see that concept quite a lot. So I guess what I'm saying is, study if you're into fine art photography, great, but study it and be great at it. Don't just have concepts which need a title and a photographers stood there. In fact, sometimes in exhibitions and galleries, you'll see the picture, and then underneath that, you'll see the artist name, and you'll see the name of the picture, and then you'll see a big description of what you should be seeing. If the concept's that good and the concept's that strong, people will see it. You don't need the tag, the name, and the A4 piece of paper with the long-winded explanations what you should be looking at on it. But that's what you tend to see. I think if you're talking about true conceptualization, true fine art, true art, you should walk into a gallery, see a picture on a wall, and make of it what you do. A little bit like with music. You don't need the lyric to feel a song, do you? You don't need to know the exact words to feel a song. It's nice to sing the right words. It's also nice to have that song hit you and you play it and you don't quite know what hit you. It's just something about it. And I always remember the John Lennon Imagine, the little film he made with it when he was at Tittenhurst Park, and he gets an homeless guy knocks on the door and asks him about one of the Beatles songs, and he's saying to John, you were singing it to me about me. He's like, how could I didn't know you. But that was that guy, that's his own abstract from that song. Photographers, they should do the same. Good photography, you should stand and look at it and get the same. And it doesn't matter, really, if you get the wrong idea, if you come away from it feeling differently to what the photography intended. The fact that you've stood and looked at it and got something from it at all is brilliant. And that's really, I think, where the art is. It's in getting people to put their goddamn phones down for 5 minutes and look at something that's on a wall that's been conceptualized to a point where does it speak to you? If you've got to go and look at it and look at the name and the long-winded to tell you what it is, what's the point? Because you're not going to go and listen to a song and only like it because the artist that did it told you why he wrote it, how they wrote it, who played in it, what key it's in, what the lyrics are, what it really means. Where's the mystery then? Where's the connection? You've connected with the song because of the song, not because of all that other stuff, which is often fun to find out, but you shouldn't need it for a song that speaks to you, should you? You shouldn't need all that information. The information should be audible, or in terms of photography, visual. You should stand in front of the picture and go, yeah, this is how it makes me feel. And fine art photography should do that without name placards, but often doesn't, mostly doesn't. So that's my kind of consideration on fine art photography and all its ills and its goods. I still think it's pretentious. I still think it's some of the worst work out there. I don't have that much respect for most of the photographers that do it because they're just chancing it, like I showed you earlier, and how easy it is to fool people. There are some really, really good photographers out there who do fine art. Kudos to them. Keep going. Keep making the great work. Keep selling it for big money. Fabulous. Keep photography alive. Those of you that fall somewhere in between, become good at it. Become good photographers. Stop just whacking blur on and whacking black and white filters on and moving shit around and making up concepts, having to print theses to stick on the wall with it to convince your audience that it is what you say it is. Good technical craft is where it should start for fine art photography, and not, for example, getting a nude female model laid on a box, putting loads of light at it until you think you're getting it looking really good, stick a flower up her arse, make it black and white, in the edit, paint the colour back in the flower that stuck out of her arse, and put it online. That's fucking just horrific. And I saw a lot of that when digital first came in. What do these call it? Selective colour or colour pop. Look at this. You'd have a model, black and white portrait with her lips would be red. Or you'd still see a fucking snot up her nose because they'd coloured it back in or whatever it is. Luckily, we don't see so much of that. We see more HDR now, don't we? But that's not fine art. That's not good practice. That's not clever. That's not conceptual. It's just not clever. It's rubbish. In the main, it's fucking crap. It's just rubbish. And while I want to keep photography alive, please, if you're in that kind of arena, please try harder not to be like that, because it's so frustrating for me, for people in the industry. Look at that. They're never going to book you if you're doing that stuff. You're never going to get a gallery unless you pay for it yourself. Think outside the box, but first of all, become technically fucking good. And don't rely on Photoshop tricks or whatever it is. If you can add a blur to a shot to make it look like you want, do it in camera. Don't rely on Photoshop. Don't go, I'm going to shoot it clean and then I'm going to edit it in case I want it clean. Because that's not a concept. That's just fucking wanging sliders around and hoping for the best. Become proficient. Know exactly what you want to do. Do it and do it well. All right. So that's it. For me for today. We've come to a conclusion there that fine art photography is pretentious as all hell. But on the other hand, there's some good guys that do it well. And we need to keep it so we can save photography. And saving photography is what it's all about. Right, that's it from me. I'll let you get back to whatever you're doing. Catch you on the flip side all. Cheers. Thanks for tuning into the Lance Burkitt Encounter today. I really do appreciate you spending some time with me here in the world of photography, education and reality. If you enjoyed the episode and feel like you learned a bit of something, do me a favour. Like, subscribe and share the channel with somebody you feel really needs to hear it. And if you're able to, and if you'd like to, please head over to lanceburkitt.com/shop and treat yourself to some of the Lance Burkitt Encounter merchandise. After all, that's how we're going to keep the channel and the podcast alive and completely independent. Until next time, keep shooting with purpose and stay true to yourselves. Cheers.
You won't believe, yeah. I can't get you out my